Thanks for listening to the Unscripted Dreams podcast. If you enjoy the show and want more, please join us on Patreon for exclusive episodes and videos. If you're looking for episode clips, please check out our YouTube page at the Unscripted Dreams podcast. Enjoy the show. Let's go.
Hey, as we know, life is full of surprises, both good and bad, and the day-to-day journey is full of unforeseen obstacles, and sometimes it's hard to see our way through. Beyond the norm and mundane are where unscripted dreams live. Join us for thought-provoking discussions and interviews to help us navigate through the fog and create our own path. We are the Unscripted Dream Podcast, operating outside the margins to motivate and inspire our audience. So today's episode is titled as My Life, Your Entertainment. And quickly, what I'm going to say from my perspective, as far as my life, your entertainment, I take it as I'm looking at it as from like a first person perspective. You know, whatever I do, people just are interested in what I'm doing. I do have a reputation of being more or less mysterious just because I stay to myself most times. So I know a lot of people find interest in trying to figure out what the hell does this kid do for real. So it's just one of those things. We have a guest today, and her name is Melissa. She's actually a great person. I know her and Marcus have more history than I do, but I'm going to let Miss Melissa actually speak on it for herself if she would like to.
Yeah, let
Well,
us know.
well, thank you guys again for inviting me
Yeah, no problem.
on tonight. So I'm gonna be 100 with you. So when I seen the title, "My Life, Your Entertainment," immediately the Ti song popped into my head. So,
Yeah, me too.
so I'm like, okay, all right, singing a hook. And I started thinking, how true. I mean, forever, I can just think that everybody's life has been somebody's entertainment, from the people next door that you looking and peeping like, what are they arguing about, to, and now you have reality TV, which makes it just so normal for everybody to be in everybody's business. So for me, my life, your entertainment has been way before internet ever came about. So, a lot of people, I've tons of followers on, Facebook, friends on Facebook and Instagram, and I very rarely post to those things because I think that you should have some parts of your life that are not for other people's consumption or entertainment. So, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks Melissa for coming through, and we appreciate it. We've been trying to get this done for a few months. I think a few months now. Uh, so,
Yes.
we appreciate. I definitely appreciate it. I think we look at our our lives, and then we look at kind of what some of the things are that we observe as far as what other people have going on, and the like you were kind of saying, Melissa, like these are people, like we're looking at things that other people have going on in
Hmm.
their lives, but these are things that they share with us. They want
Exactly.
in a lot of capacities, they want us to know what they have going on with themselves. And sometimes for me at least, bro, I don't care what you have going on. Please don't share. That's my opinion. But that's I think things have evolved in the world that we live in, and it's really become a normalcy, kind of a normalcy to have to know updates on people like day to day, what they have going on. And it really is, I think if we're involved in any kind of social media, it's definitely a source of entertainment. I think social media in itself is a form of entertainment, Joe. But what do you think?
I think a lot of things, like a lot of things really come to mind with this, man. I'm just really like, I don't know, man. Like from me living my whole like tenure with college and even leaving college, I've always had people always question me out of the blue, and people I'm not even cool with, just people just asking like the most personal questions ever. And sometimes, the real me wants to like cut into them. But I also have to realize that some people do that for a reaction, And there's
Mhm.
certain things that I'm involved with that causes me to have more spotlight on myself than others. And it's not really the spotlight as far as like shine on me that's the issue. It's just how people feel like they feel comfortable coming at you with certain questions or certain things. That's what gets the best of me sometimes. Um, and I don't think it helps because I have a poker face a lot of times. And it's really just me processing what you just did. So
Like, where do you get off?
exactly. You got me jacked up. So, I say the real thing, but right now you got me jacked up. So,
Right. Like, audacity is a very powerful, powerful thing. I would say so. Okay, in college we had Facebook. That was the first thing that came about. And so with Facebook, it was just a small network. It was mostly people that you knew. If you joined an organization and it was people that were in your organization, you know, um, but it wasn't what it is now. I cannot imagine being in college with Snapchat and Instagram stories and just the amount of nonsense and drama that would have created. So, just like you said, Marcus, Facebook, or not just Facebook, but social media in itself is entertainment. I know people when they're bored, they log onto their social media feed just to see, what is so and so doing, or did you see, what they did? Like, how does that help you? Is a question that comes to my mind. How does that help you? So,
Yeah,
I agree. It's like it's very counterproductive to do it. But I guess if you're really trying to scheme on people, I guess that's where it comes out as a benefit. But but I mean, that's a waste of time in itself. The more you focus on other people, the more you take yourself out of a race for putting yourself somewhere where you probably deserve to be or should be.
yeah.
So
mhm.
that's just how I look at those type of things, man.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting is that we were all like the time that we were in school was when like Facebook and stuff like really blew up. Like we
Mhm.
were there when it started, like when it
Right.
started, and that's what is unique because since we were there when it started, we can see the evolution of
Oh yeah.
how things changed. And we talked about in the previous episode, like when my parents were able to jump on there, that caused me pause when I knew they were able to get on there. So, but now we're in a place to where we're looking at other people's lives and it's really a source of entertainment for us. And if you get on there, like you're saying, Melissa, we get on there like you're bored and
Mhm.
you're checking it out and you're looking at like what people are doing and all this other stuff. And it's really turned into something that I don't think any of us anticipated it turning into. Because before it was just, I remember when I was first getting on Facebook, like it was just something to do. Like I remember going down into the computer lab, just jumping on there to see like what was going on and all that other stuff, but
Right.
not really understanding how things would evolve into what it is today. And it's crazy what it's turned in today because now we got
It's
people on there.
commercialized.
They're posting. Hey, we got people posting breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Oh yeah.
on there.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And
you go ahead.
no, it's crazy. Like you said, people are on there posting their whole life story from the beginning to the end. This was the traffic on my way to work, and then I got to work, and this, and it's just like, okay, but nobody really cares, or at least you really shouldn't care, what somebody's commute was like on their way to work, or what happened at the coffee shop when the lady got their coffee wrong. I mean, I do follow some people like, on Instagram, and Instagram has these influencers, like you can get paid to just post things all day, and oh, I got this many likes on or hits on my story, or this many views. And so I can understand it is a means to an end for some people, but at one point or another, when does it become too much? So to me, I think that it's just people are being nosy. Like, you just logging on somebody's page, you really okay. So if I say my goldfish died, oh, I'm gonna send the care emoji, like, oh, I'm sorry your goldfish died. Like, but do you really care that my goldfish died? You really don't. You're just doing something to do it, right? Like, it's not purposed.
And why are you posting that shit goldfish died? Like, cause you're looking
But you
for like you're looking for something in that.
attention.
See,
Hmm.
that's the key thing, man, and that's how we mentioned it before. Was the episode called "Attention is the New Drug"? Like, I understand that you're looking for some type of outlet as far as like when you're grieving, but I think that that's like one of the most low points there.
Yes.
I understand that maybe someone really close to you passed, but like I feel like that's kind of a low point too. For me, it is just
Mhm.
because I know purpose in me displaying that information to other people that I'm not even close with. So all I'm doing is giving you information to spread like the equivalent to the coronavirus. Like
Yeah.
seriously, like once you put that information out there, you know how many people gonna start talking and like, oh, such and such dad passed away or whatever the
Right.
situation is. And it's just not necessary, man. You just pretty much created more problems for yourself. And I don't know. I just feel like if you can put anything out there on social media, it should be something that's super productive, whether that's a business or something that benefits everybody as a whole.
Yes. Because, like you said, in all actuality, if those people that you're posting this information about your life, how many of those people are you really communicating with on a daily basis? How many of those people have you communicated with within the last year, let alone week or month? A handful. So the people who really need to know what's going on with you are the people you're always in communication with in the first place. So what's the purpose of posting it on social media other than, oh, I'm flexing on you, or, I'm trying to get attention?
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So all right. So look, y'all know I love talking about social media and how much I hate it, but but all right. So I was thinking about all right. So I mean, topic is my life, your entertainment, and this is something that has bothered. I mean, it. I don't know if it bothers me, but I'm perplexed by it. If that makes sense. So, have you all watched these like just like the true crime stories, like the murder mysteries, like what's the popular one, like Making a Murderer?
um Anything on ID.
Yeah. So, all right.
48.
So, yeah, that one. Hey, first creators. I mean, that's good TV right there. But but I watch these shows and like I don't like my perspective and how I view these shows have changed. So I watch these shows and I don't watch them as much as I used to. Look, I'll be honest. Look, the only reason I watch these shows now is because my girlfriend likes to watch these like true crime stories. All right. And she has like a psychology background. She's like worked with people who have like that criminal psychopath type of thing. Like she has a
Oh.
history with that stuff. So she'll ask me like, "Hey, will you watch this show with me?" And I'm like, I watch it, whatever. But it turns into for me, what it's turned into is that I'm watching it for a different reason. I'm not watching it to be entertained. I'm watching it because I'm looking for other things. It's almost like we're watching two different shows, pretty much, if that makes sense. But we watched this show recently. We watched one last night. I mean, God, bro, I end up watching these shows, man. I mean, good lord, bro. But we were watching the one. It was called the Yorkshire Ripper or something, or the Ripper or something. It's about this guy who was serial killer who was killing women, and and then we watched this one like last night. We watched all of them. It's called The Night Stalker. It was new on Netflix or whatever. But one of the questions I've developed is, like, why are people finding entertainment in the downfall of like the demise of other people? And how, like, for me, when I see it, it's not entertaining. For me, it's like, hey, somebody lost their life and, it probably destroyed these families. Like, many of families were destroyed, but people are watching it like purely for entertainment because whenever these murder, like the true crime shows, like these things are trending number one. Like there's like top five on Netflix or anything like that. And I'm always trying to figure out like why is it on a psychological level? Like why is it that we find entertainment in the downfall of other people? And what are your thoughts on that?
I don't. I don't think that it's necessarily in the downfall of other people. I think so. I am like by force, all into the very first podcast serial. So my sister will probably kill me if I don't talk about this because literally it turned into a show. It was a podcast, and then it was another podcast about this guy who was how I mean she feels wrongly convicted of murder of his high school girlfriend. So she gets into these the story because she thinks that this person is innocent. So it's almost like she turns into the attorney. Like
Mhm.
so I think that it we all have many talents or many interests, right? So I can say, looking at what happened at the Capitol brought out my inner FBI agent. This is what I would have been doing if I was in Washington. So I think that it's not so much, we praying on somebody's downfall. I just think that it just is something to do. In today's age, and it allows you to try on different hats and different roles, because if I watch those shows, I'm turning into the investigator. Like, oh
Yeah,
no, this person did it because they were there, at this time, and I can't watch regular TV anymore because I need to binge watch it because I need to know what happens. Like reading a book and you read the first page and then you go to the end. I'm that person. Like I need to know what happened so that I can build the case, myself. So I think that especially for those shows, for sure. Like I'm all into that.
yeah. So, all right. So now there's reasons. So, all right. So, I did a little research. All right. So, there's because for me, the issue for me, is that I'm always trying to dig a little bit deeper. Like I'm always trying to find what's going on beyond the surface, like the surface
Yeah.
level. So there's many reasons. I mean, psychologically, as people, that we might find entertainment in things like this because we might find relief in understanding that maybe that didn't happen. Like I'm glad that didn't happen to me. What happened to these folks?
Yeah.
Or you might seek to learn and understand, like gain understanding from a survival standpoint. Or it's just like a good story with an ending. Because it is entertaining because it's marketable. That's why you always see these stories that are they're coming on, and I mean there's a natural curiosity to it as well because
Yeah.
I'm curious, and I think that when I watch those type of things, I'm looking at the media. Like the media is slowly turning into they're like number two beyond my thoughts on social media. Like the media is creeping up on social media. The media
Oh,
might be number one. They might. I mean,
oh,
they're creeping in
no.
directions. But no, I think that we all find a reason for watching certain things, and there's a reason. I just when I watch those type of shows, I think about all the families that are destroyed by that. But there is a natural, like I said, there is a natural curiosity, and people are drawn to those type of things for certain reasons. And I think that it's there's a level of entertainment, and however there is a level of, like, for me at least, I look at that stuff and I'm thinking, like, man, that tore our whole family apart, and it's not entertaining for me. It's more so me taking a lesson from it. And that's what I think, there's a good deal of people who take a lesson from those things as well, because these are tragic circumstances. And
Hmm.
we would be ignorant perhaps to not take away something from it and to not raise our precautions in certain aspects as we maneuver through the world. So I think there is value in it. However, it's definitely something that it's marketable, and there's a reason why there's always a new one jumping off on our streaming platforms. Joe, what do you think? What do you think?
I just think people are obsessed with the element of surprise. I mean, there's not really much else to it. Like when you think about it, everybody wants to know what's next. Everyone wants to be surprised. Now it comes to a point where those type of things get predictable. Like you're talking about a show that is committed to First 48. I'm referring to is committed to finding out who murdered somebody. There's nothing surprising about that. Somebody murdered somebody and they're trying to figure it out. But I mean, it's just the whole idea of how it plays out, the storyline, man sitting there in the room contemplating about what he potentially did or what he knows. And they give this man some McDonald's, and the man started telling the whole life story. Like, that's entertaining. It's actually funny, but it's sad at the same time. But I mean, that's what we find entertaining in today's world. The most littlest thing could just set us off just because it's something so different than what our daily living is. So I don't know. I just think it's the whole idea of the element of surprise. Like, I don't live a typical life of just stabbing or shooting people. But I could see how somebody else can find some entertainment out of it, or get some type of creative vibes or imagination is boosted from that. So
Sure.
that's just my perspective as far as how I see people potentially liking it or the reason why they do.
Yeah, they give up all the information for a 10-piece nugget and a McChicken. All right.
Not a 10-piece nugget.
Yeah, they told for the ultimate feast. That's what they did.
All right.
The Wendy's 4 for $4.
Yeah, so I have a question for both of you. But do you think that just in general, people have an obsession of? Is there an obsession with the lives of other people? Do you think we have that?
Hell yeah, people love drama. That's the common denominator there. People love drama, man. And I hate drama, but people love it.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps you going. I guess it keeps your mind off of what you have going on or what's going on around around you. So I would say it's more so a distraction.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
watch every Real Housewives series, so I could
Okay.
tell you, I could tell you about every series. And it's a distraction, So if I'm working crazy, I'm like, you know what? I'm about to just dive into why did she invite her to this party on this show? So, that's just what takes me away from my everyday, daily day. But I do think that there is a borderline to obsessive. And that those are people who have to know what's going on. Like, I don't I don't check my phone. My phone when I'm at work, my phone is up. I'm not looking at it. I could care less about my phone. It's not important to me. But I know people who can't go, 30 minutes without checking, who was on my Instagram or who liked my picture or who commented on, my status this morning, especially the younger generation. Like a lot of my employees are younger. So they're like, oh, put their phone up and they go on a lunch break, like, oh my God, look at how many hits I got on Instagram. And I'm like, whoa, like, is it really that big of a deal? Maybe if I was 20 something, it would be important to me, maybe, but I guess I don't know. It's just not that big of a deal to me to know
Yeah.
how many times somebody liked something on Instagram or on Facebook.
Hmm.
And I
So
don't care how many times somebody liked your stuff on Instagram or Facebook, you know?
it's a game. I was gonna talk to Joe about something earlier that I forgot. We'll at the table. I'm a table that and I didn't even talk about it. But
Oh, wait.
there's a natural. I think there's just a natural curiosity that I think we all have as people to about how other people live and like what because you live your life. You might be happy with it or not, but you wonder like what is that like how's the life of that other person that maybe I see every day or I don't see every day. You just wonder how they're living in comparison to how you live, and I think that's just
Do you though? Because I really don't. Like, I really don't. Like, I will ask people, hey, how you doing? And you can tell me the, polite, I'm good. Okay, that's good.
they're
If
lying.
you start, right, but that's okay. I'm okay with that lie. Because if you start running down all your problems, then I'm like, okay, let me just set the couch and here's my rate. Because I really don't want to know everything. I mean, I will celebrate everybody's highs and I will be there for you when you at your low. But on a daily basis, I don't have the energy. I don't really care that much.
Yeah, that's a
Is
lot.
that bad? Am I a bad person? Because I don't really care
No,
that much.
Nah,
They ain't bad.
everybody has their own capacity of what they can and cannot take. So, you can't really judge somebody for that because you don't know what else they got going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, the last thing I'll probably bring up here is just like maybe celebrity culture, because a lot of what a lot of what people say. Well, I mean, we'll go over time a little bit here. That's okay. But there's this what is it called? Celebrity worship or something like that. Now I remember growing up. I go to my grandma's house. I was young. I was under four. I can say I was under 14, probably for sure. But we would go over there and we would watch like on a regular basis outside of watching soap operas, where we'd be watching Entertainment Tonight and all that celebrity, like all the celebrity news, and that was just like it was like a regular fixture. It wasn't like it was odd that we were watching it. It was just like a routine thing. So
Right.
I think well, for some, I'm not going to speak for myself, all right, but you watch that stuff, and then you realize, I guess, like being a lot older and seeing that, you realize that a lot of the stuff you're intaking on a normal basis is it's really based around the lifestyle of a celebrity and what they're doing, what they have going on, who they're dating, what they're buying, what projects they're involved in, and all this other stuff. And I realized as I got older, why do I care about what these people are doing?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
why? What do you? I mean, what do you all thoughts on on that? Because I couldn't choose what I was. I mean, I had no look. When you a kid and you're with older folks, like you have no control over what's on the
Seen
TV.
and not heard.
Yeah,
I definitely grew up watching Entertainment Tonight. It was the 7:30 program to watch, Saturdays. They had their special, you had the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Definitely watched that. But it was like, oh, okay, they got this big house. I mean, as a kid, you don't really know. You're like, oh, okay, that's nice. That, they got these cars or whatever. And that's goals, right? So it's like, oh, I'm gonna have a house like that, and I'm gonna have this and that. But it never went beyond that. Now today, okay, yeah, Beyonce can have a bad, wig going on in a video, and I'm like, ooh, what wave is that, girl? So that part maybe is a little bit inspirational, but I don't know. I don't really get into it like that. Like nothing on my day to day is like, okay, I gotta do this because so and so did it, or I'm gonna try this because they tried it and they said that this product worked. Like I'm gonna buy what I like and what I know is good, or I'm gonna do what I like to do, whatever. So I can't really say that I'm that influenced, but I do know people who are. Oh, I seen this on Instagram and they said that if you take this, that your waist gonna be snatched in 2 days. And I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy a whole supply. And I'm like, waste of money. How many people selling waist trainers? Keisha Kayor got this waist trainer, but I'm about to get that too because my waist gonna be like hers. Okay, but it's not. So it's just. I mean, people have to realize that celebrities are like products, right? They're conglomerates, they're businesses, even though they're people. And so their job is to make you want whatever they have. So you go and spend your money on whatever they have for this image that they're portraying. And it just is that it's an image. It's not real life. It's not, who they are. They might be millionaires, and most of them are. But after they pay their bills and their debts now, they probably aren't. So, at the end of the day, they got to work hard just like you and me. So I don't know, Joe, what you think?
I think just to get back on that Keisha Kior, for people that don't know, that's Gucci Man wife, if I'm correct.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, she's a beautiful lady, but I think she took some ribs out for her waist to get that small. But that's just me.
See, exactly. I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah.
I'm just saying that there was some type of augmentation there. It wasn't.
Hmm.
It just didn't happen naturally.
Some trip to some island.
I'm,
Yes.
I'm glad y'all here to break that down for me because I have no idea.
I mean, take a look at her, Marcus, on your free time, and you'll see, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. She has
Right.
cartoon figures.
Yes.
When I think of this, I say I'm a victim, but in a different format. I don't, that's more so like high school for me. Like I went through high school. I was in high school when the whole Flavor Flav, Surreal Life, everything was just starting up. Like Bridget Nielsen and Flavor Flav, like that stuff
Oh
was
man.
comedy, right? But
Yes.
and then later we figured out that most of that stuff was probably scripted.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't know that. I was in high school. I didn't know any better. So now it's got to a point where I don't see any enjoyment in that, but I get enjoyment out of watching people on like YouTube. Perfect example would be like Mike Tyson's podcast, or Vlad TV. I know a lot of people make fun of Vlad TV, but you got people that are talking about real life scenarios and encounters that they've had. And I'm addicted to watching that, where there'd be clips of people talking about their life and what they've done, from mafia bosses to rappers,
Mm,
actresses. And, it's a lot of bull crap in between, but it's just funny to like see how people conduct themselves and how they portray themselves.
Hmm.
And I get my rocks off on looking at that because I get a chance to judge them. Well, not even judge, but more so like analyze them in a judgment free zone.
mm,
Because no one can really talk back. Yeah, you can look at some comments on YouTube, but everyone knows that most of those people are trolling. So
right.
you don't know what's what. You just have to watch the video to kind of like take your part from it. And that's what I like about interviews, like live. Well, they're not live, but they're actual interviews where you just see them in a screenshot and they get asked questions and you get to see their facial response and everything. So you can read between the lines or take it for how it is or whatever it is. So that's where I get caught up in those type of things. But as far as the other stuff, I think it's because I grew up with that. I don't really find any interest in the shows where they're scripted or anything. Do I think they're funny? Most definitely. But I know that I'm not going to waste my time watching it because I know I'll probably be binge watching it before you know it. So so I just stay away from it altogether. But I do respect people and understand that, it's just something to pass time, or it's just something to kind of take their minds off of their daily living. So, I would never knock that just because I know a lot of people need something to take their mind off.
Yeah. And things are definitely an escape. Like sometimes we look at things and it's just an escape. I think my biggest concerns is, finding, like I said, just finding entertainment out of other people's demise or their downfall. I think that's been probably my biggest issue recently with it is, like that's the reason. Cause people got so much stuff going on and we're just looking at it and we're just consumers. Like a lot of times we're just like the receivers of that information, and we don't. I think sometimes we don't consider that like somebody's lives have been impacted like significantly by these events, and we're just like consuming the information, and we're just getting. It might. I mean, for us, it might be a distraction. It might be like we might get off of work and we might check it out, and we just might be like, oh, "Hey, man, glad that's not me." Like that's not me that got jammed up.
Right.
So, I think it's just, for me, just kind of understanding that, like these are people that have real lives. And even, for celebrities, I mean, we don't even know who these people are. Like 99% of the time we see them, they're acting or they're putting on a
Mm,
show for us or playing some role. So but we don't really even know
definitely.
what these people are about, honestly. So, we have to consider that as well. I mean, some of the relationships we see are contrived.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so
Mail order bride.
yeah, right.
The
One,
celebrity edition.
one click away. You just shoot, bro. You just
Okay.
want to shoot. So,
Look, I mean, they sitting in the White House right now. Perfect example.
That's a good
Perfect
one.
example.
so,
Come on, we all know what's gonna happen on January 21st.
Yeah. Can't wait.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, but it's all a matter. I think it's all a matter of understand. Just I think for me, just understanding like why it is we find comfort maybe in saying some things, and Just
I think I don't know if we find comfort in it or we've just become comfortable with it. I think that people have just become so accustomed to consuming the lives of other people. Like I said, it didn't just start with social media. I mean, it's been going on forever. If you grew up around your, aunts or, your grandparents, and they were talking about what was going on with the people, next door, or for my people who, go to church and they sitting up and they talking about the ladies, and you just want to know what they saying, who they talking about, So, I mean, we've become complacent in taking on other people's lives as our source of entertainment. So, I don't know. It's crazy.
I agree. I agree with that. You made a good point, Melissa. I mean, that makes sense. Jay, you got anything before we close out of here?
I just find all this stuff humorous, and I just hope whoever else is listening that this is pretty funny, man. Like, it's pathetic, but it's funny just because everybody's been caught up in this before, and there's just different levels of it. So you really can't judge nobody. They like what they like, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melissa, anything else you got to close this out that
I
you want to
mean,
let
this
people know?
Yes.
definitely go get the Keisha K or belt. No. No, but I mean, your life is somebody's entertainment, and it doesn't matter, if you put it on social media or if you're just living your everyday life. Somebody is always watching you, and hopefully it's for a good reason. And if you're watching somebody else, then hopefully it's for a good reason and that you're learning something in the process and you're not just taking it, for naught. But yeah, I mean, this was dope.
All right.
Thanks for having me on. I have fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
through.
Likewise. I
We,
hope you come back someday.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. We appreciate it. But hey, man, as always, as we wrap this thing, hey, take care. Be safe.
Later.
Gapstone.